I'm rolling.
He shoves.
I call.
Oh, wow.
I call.
He calls! And he's out!
Yep, it was one of those. Even still, a fold here would be incredible.
He does fold!
Wow!
Jack 9 suited for Jake Cody.
Calling here is usually good.
No, he re-raises. It's a 3-bet to 38,000.
Plays really well in position.
Folded back around to Gordillo, who has Jake dominated, and he calls.
Ice cream and Jakey Jake.
Wow, Cody flops the nuts.
Have you ever noticed that since Jake had his daughter, he's got permanent dad face?
Gordillo checks.
Guess it helps him look like he doesn't like this flop. He's looking at it like he just showed up to take his daughter to prom.
Jake bets 44,000. Gordillo, with a gut shot to a chop, calls.
And that's exactly why there's an argument for folding there. There aren't very many good turn cards for him.
Ironically, that is a good turn card for Gordillo. He picks up a diamond draw. He checks a second time. And Jake checks behind.
Surprising on a 2-flush board.
Deuce of spades on the river. That's a brick for Gordillo.
But he is gonna rip.
181,000 in the pot. He bets 77,000.
With a flush coming in, Jake probably has to just call. There aren't a lot of 9x combos by the river, and some of them would have to fold to a raise because they're calling to chop. Spades are also in Gordillo's range. Spades are wicked in his range.
I'm rolling.
Wow, we weren't expecting that. Jake shoves.
No, I was not.
And Gordillo folds. Jake Cody adds 175k to his stack. Pocket queens for Jake Cody.
Expect to see a free bet.
5-8.
If this were Jeopardy, I would answer, what is Daniel Negreanu's listed height?
So a re-raise to 5,800. Not much of a hand for Juan Luke. So back on Newtonen.
See if Newtonen wants to dig out his miner's helmet and his pickaxe, go searching for a 4.
Hi-ho, it's off to the flop we go.
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Nice try, pal. He's gonna have to dig pretty deep considering Xuan Lu already folded a 4.
Well, that 4's not going to help him anymore. Queen, queen, 7, quads for Cody.
Huh.
Newtonen checks.
5-5.
What is Daniel Negreanu's actual height?
Jake Cody bets 5,500.
It's likely Newtonen will call at least one time and hope Jake's got many of the unpaired hands in his range, even though we know he's more dead than Mel Gibson's career.
He calls. And go to the turn. 5 of clubs.
Bad card for Newtonen since it doesn't look all that scary. Not as bad as a 4 would have been, though.
Jake bets again.
Jake Cody, no fool. He's going to try to get paid on every street here. Could easily see Newtonen calling again, thinking Jake's just barreling.
He does call. 10,500 apiece. To the river we go.
Jake's probably already trying to calculate the cost of Newtonen's river ride to Value Town.
It's the case 4 on the river.
Oh, the price of that ticket just went up to everything you've got.
What a horrible spot for the Finn. The one card he thought he wanted to see is the one card he so did not want to see.
This is going to be a shame.
17-5.
Cody bets for value. 17,500.
Not sure if Newtonen is Hollywooding, but he better enjoy the camera time while he can.
I'm rolling.
He shoves. You've got quads, Jake.
I call.
This is happening way too slowly for a guy with quads. Come on, Jake.
Oh. Wow. Nice river.
I'm surprised he thinks it was a nice river because actually it caused him to lose. Oh, I see what he did.
Jake Cody is on the button and has 8-4 of hearts.
If Jake's playing this, I don't imagine he's just calling. Dad face is way too serious for that. It's like sending your daughter on a date and not brandishing a shotgun.
3 betting with junk. Classic Cody. Sven Wendt in the small blind. Folds, as does Jareth East in the big blind. It's back on Marc-Andre. He calls. He'll have to play the flop out of position and without the betting lead. 5-4 deuce. Jake pairs his 4.
More classic Cody.
Looks like Jake will continue.
C betting not so much for value, but for protection mostly.
56,000. Marc-Andre has missed this board completely. But that's not going to stop him. That is a check raise. 135,000 total.
Good read by the French dog. Cody is weak, but much like the selfie stick, he is going nowhere.
He calls. And improves. 2 pair now for Jake. Marc-Andre took the betting lead on the flop, and he barrels 90,000.
This bet is super small. Very easy call.
590,000 in the middle. Neither player has a pot-size bet behind. The river is a jack, a pair for Marc-Andre. He checks.
He's in check call mode now.
I'm all in.
Jake shoves on him.
And I think Marc-Andre expects Jake to do this pretty often with nothing.
Is he going to call all in here? He's river top pair, and Jake's hand is very disguised.
It's a very difficult situation because I don't even know what Jake's range is here.
I call.
He calls, and he's out.
Yup, it was one of those.
Marc-Andre Ladouceur eliminated in 29th place.
Nice one. Good game.
Marc-Andre, the effed dog. Taken out by some classic Cody.
Back to our secondary feature table. Mizrachi v Cody heads up to the flop. Mizrachi with the best of it right now.
Checks his pair and gut shot. Cody, the original raiser, and he did it from early, so my guess is he's going to keep trying to rep strength. Plus, sometimes he can even bet ace high for value when Rob's calling with just a gut shot.
9,500.
Jake really doesn't have much of a chance of catching anything on this hand.
Mizrachi calls. Boom. Ace on the turn.
As I was saying.
Mizrachi checks a second time.
Good spot for Jake to keep firing. A lot of players are going to bluff the ace on the turn or check back when they hit it, so betting it can sometimes be a little tricky.
His bet of 18,000 has just become 39,000 thanks to a check raise from Robert Mizrachi.
And Rob's raising here in what looks like a scare card, hoping that Jake's just double barreling or has a hand as weak as one pair.
Jake calls the raise. No straight for Mizrachi on the river, just a pair of eights. He checks.
Mizrachi couldn't pull the trigger on another bet. Good thing, too, because I think there's a good shot it gets called.
Jake has around 80,000 behind.
For most players, this is an easy check behind.
Not for Jake Cody. He moves all in.
Hachi Machi. I don't think this is turning his hand into a bluff. I think this is a really sick value shove. I just don't know how often it's getting called. Rob's not even beating third pair on board. I talk a lot about polarization, but this move is the opposite. It's a merge, and I love it. Sometimes better hands will fold, but mostly this is designed so when you're right, worse hands will hero call you, like the bat signal. The last time Rob thought this hard about a decision was over what kind of pomade to buy. Appropriate facial expression, check. Jake Cody giving away nothing.
Rob's seriously thinking about this.
That's what makes it such a great move, whether it gets called or not.
He calls.
All in call.
Rob just looked up Jake Cody lighter than a helium balloon. There must be some serious dynamic happening at this table. Absolutely masterfully played by Jake Cody.
Action. Folded around to Jake Cody. And he's got ace-queen.
Oh boy, this could get uglier for Jake Cody than Willem Dafoe in drag.
No re-raise from Jake, just a call on the button.
I do like to just call with how deep they are.
Art Corrin also has a queen. Queen Jack in the big blind.
Getting pretty good pre-flop pot odds, but his hand is pretty much in jail.
He calls as well. We go three-way to the flop. Colleen, roughly a 2-to-1 favorite. Well, that's a gut shot for Corrin. Colleen's king still way out in front.
Yeah, look at that. Things not so bad for Queen Jack all of a sudden, though.
No c-bet from Colleen. He's checked the action to Jake.
I'm fine with a no c-bet, believe it or not. The only problem is that there are lots of bad turn cards.
So Jake takes over the betting lead, 160,000.
He must have heard me calling him dad face most of the tournament. Today he's dressed like Sandy from the end of Grease. Sure, I could have said Danny, but I went with Sandy.
Looks like Corrin's calling with his gut shot.
Kevin's hand obviously way too strong to fold, but he can't really like this action.
He calls as well, so we're still three-way as we go to the turn. There's a 6, which doesn't change anything. Corrin checks.
Given the flop action, this could very well check around.
Colleen checks again. Yeah, no second bet from Jake. He checks behind. Queen on the river, that's top pair for Corrin and Cody. But Colleen's overpair is still good.
Oh man, worst river ever for those two. Not even a great river for Colleen, actually, even though he's still winning.
He's counting out a value bet. 380,000 into a pot of nearly 800,000. So what's Jake gonna do here?
Even though we know Jake has the worst hand, folding here would actually be pretty close to being a bad fold in the long run. He might actually be winning here more often than he's losing. He's also got Art Corrin to worry about behind him. Even still, a fold here would be incredible.
He does fold!
Wow! Again, wow.
Can Art Corrin get away from his queen? No, he pays off Kevin Colleen.
Oh man, that's gonna be rough watching this back, seeing Jake fold a much better hand and then calling with his. Hail to thee, Jake Cody.
Colleen chips up to the delight of his rail. And what a read by Jake Cody. Blind still 3,000, 6,000. Action on Robert Mizrachi. A raise from early position with ace-10 off. Folded to Cody. And there's King Jack off.
Yeah, Jake's not folding this in position to rob. These guys are both pretty deep, so it's possible Jake may elect to try to play a bigger pot.
1K.
Looks like he's going for raising chips. It is a 3-bet to 26,500. Reveille folds the ace-7 suited. Bookema folds the small blind. Jeremy Kotler folds the big blind. Action back on Mizrachi.
This isn't a great hand out of position, but it's just good enough to defend his original raise with. Ace-10 is basically the cutoff because it's the smallest ace you can still flop Broadway with.
While Mizrachi flops top pair. Cody, with position and the betting lead, flops second pair. Mizrachi checks to him.
Jake's probably compelled to continue here most of the time. Rob's gonna call with all better hands, but probably plenty of worse ones too.
Jake's c-bet is 25,000.
Small relative to the size of the pot, but in a 3-bet pot, it's gonna be just as effective as a bigger bet.
Mizrachi calls. We go to the turn, which is the deuce of hearts, pairing the board.
Rob's now chopping with all aces that aren't ace-king.
He checks to Jake. And Jake checks behind. The river is a 10, giving Mizrachi a better 2-pair.
Really good card for Rob, because now he's beating all aces except ace-king, and he can value bet the aces that think they're chopping.
He's made it 38,500.
I'm all in.
And Jake Cody shoves. I didn't see that coming.
Holy shnikes, he has done it again, only this time it is not for value.
See how me cover? Yeah.
Rob bet the river so small, I think it kind of turns his hand face up a bit as a value hand, but not super strong.
No.
Plus, when Rob's bluffing, you instantly win the pot. Jake's trying to rep a straight or a slow-played boat, and I think he can do it pretty credibly in this spot.
And of course, last time he made this move, he got Mizrachi to call pretty light.
And a play like this only has to work around 60% of the time for it to be profitable, and it's going to work at least that often, I think. Rob's got the absolute worst hand he should be thinking about calling with here. It's the kind of hand you're going to spend a lot of time in the tank with.
Cody giving nothing away.
And I'm sure part of Rob's struggle here is he might just read this as Jake trying to blow him off a chop. And he knows he's beating all chop hands. I think anything worse than this is an easy fold. Anything better, and calling is a little easier too.
Wow.
Obviously a huge decision from Mizrachi's tournament.
I could beat ace queen. Sick.
Agreed. Whether he gets called or not, this is an awfully sick play by Jake Cody.
You could have an ace, hoping I fold an ace. Have ace king, king's full. He wouldn't do that. Doesn't make any sense.
Uh-oh, he's putting it together like Chaz at the end of Usual Suspects.
I don't want to go out like this. Scared you have an ace. If you have an ace, you're going to make that play to get me off the ace. With jack queen suited.
That's why this is such a great bluff.
10's full.
Jake is credibly repping a very wide range of winning hands.
Mizrachi tortured.
Damn, I'd be so pissed if I'm wrong.
There's only one way to find out.
If I'm right. Wow. So sick. Oh my god.
Looks like he's going to make a decision.
Oh my god.
Jake Cody hasn't even broken a sweat.
It's impressive.
All right, I call.
He calls! After 8 minutes and 22 seconds, he calls!
Cancel the floor person, and that has got to feel great for Rob. Props to Jake Cody, too.
It was tough.
It's not an easy call. Right?
It's not easy. I thought there was a chance he's going to do that with ace queen, ace jack, and something like that.
Good call.
Thanks.
Put the heat on. It was a good bet. Said it was a good bet.